This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
And good morning to you. I'm Lauren Casey. The time right now is 4:27. Welcome to Good Morning Indiana. Let's get to those top stories before we get into the show this morning. Starting with the latest COVID numbers here in the state of Indiana. We know that we have more than 24,000 reported cases. That means more than 400 new cases in the last 24 hours reported. Total people tested over 140,000. We do have 17 new deaths to report since the weekend, and then also bringing our death total to more than 1,300 here in the Hoosier State. We'll continue to keep you updated on the very latest numbers from the state health department. We're expecting new numbers to be reported around the lunch hour today. So, of course, we'll keep you updated as soon as those come into the newsroom. But something else we need to talk about today, it is Monday, May 11th, a day a number of people have been waiting for as the state, most of the state, we should say, not Marion County, starts to move into those opening stages of stage 2. That means restaurants can operate at about 50% capacity. Barbershops, salons, those are allowed to open up using PPE and social distancing guidelines. Other businesses able to start taking steps to reopen. So we're going to break down what all that means for businesses and what counties are still under the stay-at-home order. That's all coming up here on Good Morning Indiana. Before we get to those stories, we do want to get a check of our forecast. Today it was a chilly weekend, and Todd Clausen is here to tell us more about what we can expect as he head out the door this Monday. And boy, Todd, those temperatures don't look like kind of the middle of May. It seems more like the winter time.
Yeah, you know, our normal low is only 50 degrees, so we're well below where we should be. Of course, on Saturday morning, 27 degrees, the coldest temperature ever recorded in Indianapolis in the month of May. And it's still chilly here the first couple days of this upcoming week before we finally get back to more spring-like weather later on. So we're at 37 right now in Indy, 39 in Muncie, holding on to 42 in Lafayette. You notice a few flurries and or sprinkles out there this morning. And as we work our way throughout the day today, we'll kind of toggle back and forth between mostly cloudy and partly cloudy skies, but that high temperature of 53, well below the normal high. That should be up in the 70s at this point. We do get to the 70s by Thursday. We'll talk more about that extended forecast for you, Lauren, coming up in just a little bit.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Well, we do want to take a look here at another story that our Rafael Sanchez is going to bring us in the 6 o'clock hour. You've probably seen these signs maybe around your neighborhood as you're driving around central Indiana. It says, a hero lives here, and it's highlighting our frontline workers who are really putting everything on the line during this COVID-19 pandemic. Well, we're hearing from Indianapolis couple that says that their homeowners association actually sent them a letter saying that they can't have these signs out there. Of course, they're shocked. And so we're going to talk to Rafael about what they can do, what you can do if you face something like this. That's all coming up here on Good Morning Indiana.
This is Good Morning Indiana, working for you.
Now at 4:30 on Good Morning Indiana, more coronavirus testing sites are opening across the state, working for you, where they are and how you can qualify. As more places continue to open their doors, there's a few things to keep in mind, what experts say you should do to keep yourself safe. And some people on the front lines could see their pay decrease soon, why businesses are getting rid of hazard pay, and the plan in Washington that could help essential workers. But before we get to our top stories here on our Monday, we want to thank you for joining us here on Good Morning Indiana. I'm Lauren Casey. Todd Clausen, social distancing again this week and reporting from home on some chilly temperatures. Todd, when are we going to warm up?
You know, I think we're targeting Thursday, Lauren. I know that's a couple days away, but at least gives us something to look forward to here. But yeah, the chill is in the air once again this morning all across the area. We're down into the 30s in most locations, 37 in Indy as well as Martinsville. A couple 40s out there this morning. Terre Haute's at 41 degrees. It's 34 in Richmond. And the skies are partly to mostly cloudy this morning. And where those temperatures were in the 30s, that's where it was a little more chilly across the area. And, you know, there's been a few flurries and or sprinkles making their way through the area, but overall it's very, very quiet weather-wise. The main system is passing off to our north and east. You see that rain over in the Cleveland area. So we're going to be dry today. That is the good news. The bad news is we're just going to struggle to warm once again with the clouds that will be in place. Only about 49 degrees by the noon hour with high temperatures today. That'll be in the low 50s. So you're definitely going to be out and about. Need to have the jacket handy throughout throughout the day today. You will definitely need it. There's still a little bit of a breeze as well, so those 50s going to feel more like the 40s. We'll talk more about that spring-like weather, Lauren, that's heading our way as we work our way towards the tail end of the week coming up in Maine weather in just a few minutes.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. We do want to get to traffic, though, as you're heading out the door to start your work week. Here's a look right now north of downtown, I-65 at 30th Street. You can see everything here is quiet. We'll break down any issues you may run into for this week in the traffic department, but right here on the north side, everything's moving along just fine. Well, we begin this morning with the latest COVID-19 numbers from around the world. According to Johns Hopkins University, the coronavirus tracking there's now more than 4 million reported cases of COVID-19 across the globe. 1.3 million of those cases are right here in the United States. Globally, there have been 282,719 deaths. The U.S. accounts for 79,528 of those deaths. More than 216,000 Americans have recovered from COVID-19, and globally, more than 1.4 million people have recovered. Here in the state of Indiana, the state health department is reporting 24,126 COVID-19 cases since Sunday. That is an increase of 402 cases since Saturday, I should say. So far, 140,029 people have been tested positive for COVID-19 in our state. 17 new deaths were also reported Sunday, meaning more than 1,300 Hoosiers have now died from this coronavirus. There is also 129 probable COVID-19 related deaths. Indiana's earliest recorded coronavirus death was less than 2 months ago. That was back on March 15th. It has been a busy 2 months. As the state continues to move forward to reopening our economy, increasing testing remains a big piece of that progress. So last week, 20 testing sites all across the state were opened, and this week, 30 additional sites will be opening. Those sites include locations here in Marion County, Hamilton, Cass, and Hancock counties. State Health Commissioner Dr. Christina Box is encouraging anyone who meets the requirements to get tested.
I encourage anyone with symptoms, anyone who lives with someone who has symptoms, people who have been exposed and need a test to go back to work, and those individuals who are high risk, such as individuals who are over 65, people with conditions like diabetes, obesity, high blood pressure, and those members of our minority populations who are at greater risk to come and get tested. If you're at high risk, please get tested, even if you don't have symptoms.
The tests are free. To register, go to lhi.care/COVID testing. We have a link to that site on our website, theindychannel.com. The Rebound Indiana is RTV6's initiative to help you navigate life during and after the coronavirus pandemic. Stage 2 of the state's roadmap to reopen takes a big step forward today in many counties, and here's what that is going to look like. Hair salons, barbershops, they can open by appointment only. Restaurants will be allowed to open during their dining rooms at 50% capacity. These steps apply to businesses in counties that have been in stage 2 for a week now with no major issues. That does not include Marion County, where the stay-at-home orders are still in effect through at least Friday. As Indiana starts to ease social distancing restrictions, healthcare professionals say to proceed with caution. RTV6 spoke with Kristen Kelly, the director of infection prevention at IU Health. She says although new cases have started to level off slightly due to social distancing, there's still some concern about the potential rise in new cases. Kelly estimates that 80% of the Hoosiers have not been infected with the virus, and that means when we come out of social distancing, COVID-19 cases will likely go up. Kelly says that's why Hoosiers need to use good judgment.
As we go out, more and more people are probably going to encounter it and potentially acquire it. It's nothing to be afraid of, but I do think that it's something that we should understand is going to happen and be prepared for it.
Kelly recommends Hoosiers to follow these simple steps. Start by socializing with a small circle of family and friends and screen everyone before getting together. Also avoid overcrowded locations. It takes just one sick person to spread the virus. You can minimize your risk by practicing good hygiene and wearing a face mask. Also make sure to prepare mentally to go through a few seasons of on and off social distancing, and most of all be patient as we're all coping with this new normal. As the country continues to reopen, some essential frontline workers will be making making less money. Kroger plans to phase out its $2 an hour hero bonus this month. Target's pay increase will expire at the end of the month, and Amazon's pay bump is set to end in mid-May. Meanwhile, Senate Democrats are proposing adding hazard pay as part of the next relief bill. The bonus would come out of a roughly $13 per hour raise through the end of the year. Republican Senator Mitt Romney is proposing a similar plan, giving frontline workers up to an extra $12 an hour through July. RTV6's Hiring Hoosiers initiative is committed to helping you find jobs and resources. Right now, several companies are hiring. That includes the Postal Service, Department of Public Works, Spherion, and Metronet, just to name a few. You can find more information about those positions and many more right now on our website. Just go to hiringhoosiers.com. As stay-at-home orders continue here in Marion County, a local organization is seeing an increase in crisis calls. Coburn Place provides housing to survivors of domestic and interpersonal abuse. The organization says more people are turning to them as emergency shelters put restrictions in place because of the coronavirus pandemic. Coburn has started temporarily putting survivors in hotels until they can find permanent housing. They're also helping pay for things like rent and utilities. The organization says the pandemic is forcing victims of abuse to make some tough decisions.
It's an unthinkable decision to make during this time. Do I stay in a household that is dangerous, or do I flee my household knowing that me and my family members might get a deathly illness? It's a really difficult choice to make, and people are unfortunately having to make it right now.
Well, Coburn Place is putting the call to action out to the community to please consider donating during these challenging times. For more on how you can help them, click on this story in the RTV6 app. Well, this will be the site above Indianapolis tomorrow. The Blue Angels are planning a flyover to honor healthcare workers, first responders, and other essential workers serving on the front lines of the COVID-19 pandemic. Times and routes will be released later today, and you can find those right on the IndyChannel.com and on the RTV6 mobile app as soon as we get them. The coronavirus is hitting the White House hard. Straight ahead, who's been diagnosed with the coronavirus and how top officials are responding. And Ahmaud Arbery's short life was honored by family and friends over the weekend, and now there's a request for the Department of Justice to investigate the handling of this deadly shooting. Coming up, the latest on the case making national headlines. Todd.
All right, and temperatures here are chilly across the area. We're in the 30s and 40s all across central Indiana and the Midwest. It's a chilly start to the work week. It ends more spring-like, though, across the area. We'll talk more about that coming up when Good Morning Indiana continues. The time now is 4:39.
Hiring Hoosiers only on RTV6.
Welcome back. More than 20,000 new COVID-19 cases were recorded in the U.S. on Sunday, and some of them hit very close to the White House. Vice President Mike Pence's press secretary testing positive for the coronavirus on Friday. Pence says he won't go into self-quarantine and plans to be back at the White House today. That's according to his spokesperson, Devin O'Malley. Meanwhile, 3 White House coronavirus task force members will begin quarantining after low-risk exposure to the virus. NIAID Director Dr. Anthony Fauci, CDC Director Dr. Robert Redfield, and FDA Commissioner Dr. Stephen Hahn will quarantine for 14 days. In the UK, Queen Elizabeth will remain isolated at Windsor Castle. The 94-year-old has been at the castle since March due to the coronavirus. The isolation marks what is believed to be Queen Elizabeth's longest absence from official duties in her 68-year reign. Meanwhile, the UK is easing some stay-at-home restrictions. In an address Sunday, Prime Minister Boris Johnson said people who can't telecommute, are encouraged to return to work today, but Johnson warned if problems or another outbreak occurs, those restrictions will return. Now to a developing story. This is out of Georgia, made national headlines. The state's attorney general is calling for a federal investigation into the death of Ahmaud Arbery. The 25-year-old was shot and killed in February by 2 white men. John Lawrence has the latest.
This weekend, a celebration of Ahmaud Arbery's short life.
Thank you for your kindness, your love, your support.
The 25-year-old was fatally shot on February 23rd near Brunswick, Georgia. Gregory McMichael and his son Travis are facing murder and aggravated assault charges. They have not commented on the case.
It's heartbreaking. It's 2020. And this was a lynching of an African-American man.
On Sunday, an open letter calling for swift justice was sent to Georgia officials by a group of musicians, including Jay-Z and Alicia Keys.
What I'm seeking is those guys, all guys that were involved in the murder of my son, to go to prison, possibly for the rest of their life.
Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr is requesting the U.S. Department of Justice to investigate the handling of the matter. Attorneys for the Arbery family released a statement saying they support a DOJ probe. William Roddy Bryan, the man who took the video of the Arbery shooting, is cooperating with authorities, according to his lawyer.
It is grossly unfair and downright dangerous for Mr. Bryan and his family to suggest that he is somehow a part of what the McMichaels were doing that day.
I'm John Lawrence reporting.
In Boston, the case against Lori Loughlin and her husband and dozens of others involved in that college admission scandal is moving forward. Federal judge denied a motion to dismiss charges on Friday. The defendants claim the government mishandled the investigation and failed to turn over some evidence, but the judge disagreed. He also denied defense attorney requests to suppress calls between defendants and the scheme's mastermind, Rick Singer. The trial is set to begin on October 5th. 3 R&B musical icons died over the weekend. Little Richard, Andre Harrell, and Betty Wright. They all had a major impact on the R&B and the music industry really as a whole. Wright died from endometrial cancer on Sunday at the age of 66. Her career started with the family's gospel group, and she released her first album at the age of 14. That was back in 1968. Harrell is credited with mentoring Sean Diddy Combs, as well as discovering and launching the careers of various artists and entertainers. And 59-year-old Harrell died on Thursday. Little Richard passed away from bone cancer Saturday. He helped influence some of the biggest names in music, including Elvis Presley, Paul McCartney, and Mick Jagger. Here at 4:46, we've got to get a check of a chilly forecast as we start the new work week. Todd Clausen is standing by from home. Todd, what can we expect in the temperature department?
Yeah, you know, as we work our way through today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, Lauren, our temperatures are going to be well below normal. Not just a little bit below normal, but well below where we should be. But then you see the big spike as we head into the end of the week, Thursday and Friday. Finally, our temperatures will get back up into the 70s and will actually be above normal. So just got to be patient here the next couple days here as we work our way through the chilly air. Once again, this morning, we're sitting in the 30s anywhere you go, with the exception of a couple 40s out there in Lafayette, as well as Terre Haute, right at 37, though in Indy. 38's the current temperature in Bloomington, and Muncie sitting at 39 degrees. We have clouds out there, some clear skies in spots, and then we also have a few flurries that are making their way through the area this morning as we zoom in. Some of those flurries just making their way through the metro area right now. A couple more up near Morse Reservoir, Noblesville, and Cicero this morning. They won't amount to anything, but here we are on what is now May the 11th, and we are talking about some snowflakes in central Indiana. It's still part of that system that brought us the rain showers yesterday on Mother's Day. That is now well off to the east, and we'll see decent weather today as far as the skies go. We'll kind of toggle back and forth between partly to mostly cloudy skies, but we will remain dry throughout the day today, though. That is the key. We don't have to experience any precipitation besides the flurries that are out there right now. The problem is we're just not going to warm. You saw highs there only right around 52 to 53 degrees. Later on today. This evening, if you have plans, temperatures will fall back down into the 40s. And then overnight tonight, we're looking at temperatures that will go back down into the 30s for just about everybody. It's going to be a little bit cooler off towards the east, and that's why the National Weather Service has a frost advisory in effect for many counties. As of right now, it does not include Marion County. However, everybody's going to, as we just showed you, get down into the 30s, so it's going to be chilly. So once again, tomorrow morning, I would cover up those plants if they're sensitive that you have out in the backyard or the front yard, just to be safe compared to sorry with those cold temperatures that'll be coming in. Now for tomorrow, a little bit warmer. We get back up to right around 60 degrees for your afternoon high, with skies that'll be partly to mostly cloudy across the area. And as you look at your 7-day planning forecast, 63 on Wednesday, so a little bit warmer once again, and then we're finally into the 70s. In fact, we'll be above above normal with highs in the mid to upper 70s starting on Thursday and going all the way through next weekend. The trade-off will be thunderstorm chances almost every day as we work our way into those warmer temperatures. They're not all-day rains, and I think most people will take the trade-off, Lauren, for 70s with the opportunity of some thunderstorms here and there, but no all-day rains compared to those chilly temperatures you see at the beginning of the 7-day.
All right, Todd, thank you so much. Let's take a look right now at traffic. This is our INDOT traffic camera over on the northeast side. This is at I-465 near Fall Creek Road. You can see traffic here on the interstate is moving along up to speed in both directions. Just a heads up, we do have a little bit of construction to report to you on the northeast side interstate. The off-ramp from I-465 to Shadeland Avenue is closed for road construction for some time. That's scheduled to last at least through May 22nd. We will keep you updated, but just keep that in mind. You'll need to take another exit ramp there in the area of the northeast side. But you can see, again, everything on the interstate, both directions, traveling up to speed this Monday. Well, the FDA has approved another potential vaccine for the coronavirus. Moderna was given the approval to make phase 2, a clinical trials study, last week. The vaccine was developed in partnership with the National Institutes of Health in January. It began testing on humans in March, a record 42 days later. The vaccine uses messenger RNA, or little pieces of the virus's genetic material, rather than a version of the virus itself. Moderna says that it will begin the phase 2 trials with 600 participants shortly. It's one of about 100 research groups around the world pursuing vaccines against this coronavirus. Delta is suspending flights to 10 airports across the country until at least September. The decision affects cities with more than one airport already served by the airline. For example, in Chicago, Delta will halt service to Midway, but it will continue to fly into O'Hare. In California, services to San Francisco will continue, but flights to Oakland will be put on hold. Other airports include Hollywood, Burbank, Long Beach, and Akron-Canton. The airline says the move will help employees limit their exposure to COVID-19. The COVID-19 pandemic is behind the cancellation of yet another major event. This year, there will be no Miss America. The competition, which was scheduled for December, is being postponed until next year. In the meantime, the Miss America organization says it's working with the state qualifying organizations on eligibility issues for the next pageant. The postponement means the current Miss America will serve an extra year until she can pass the torch. The next year's Miss America pageant will mark the 100th anniversary. Taylor Swift's Loverfest tour may be canceled due to the coronavirus pandemic, but Swifties can get a full dose of the pop star. Next week, ABC will air the Taylor Swift City of Lover concert. It was filmed last September in Paris. The special also treats fans to behind-the-scenes moments. You can watch Taylor Swift City of Lover concert Saturday, May 17th, right here on RTV6. The concert will be later be available on Hulu and Disney+. A kindergarten teacher is taking her lessons on the road. Coming up, how she's making sure her students got a hands-on experience with a very special class project. And coming up at 5 o'clock, churches opening their doors once again, how some churches are welcoming back Hoosiers. It's 4:52. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Work weekdays from 6 to 10 a.m.
An Oklahoma kindergarten teacher took her lesson on the road after her class completed this year's science project online. The end result, you can see it here, 21 baby chicks hatched. The dedicated teacher traveled to each of the students' home, giving them a chance to interact with the chicks and get a little bit of hands-on learning. Oh, I bet that was a highlight in this coronavirus pandemic for a lot of those kids. All right, Todd, we got to talk about the forecast right now. It was a cold weekend. At least we got some sunshine. What can we expect as we head into a brand new work week?
You know, the two words I think everybody's wanting to hear, a warming trend. Lauren, that is the good news. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen right away this week. It's going to be a slow process. Eventually, Thursday, we get there, as you can see, with a high temperature of 77 degrees. Today, though, mostly cloudy, chilly once again, a high of only 53 degrees. Then as we work our way into Tuesday, we're at 60 degrees with a mixture of sun and clouds, 63 on Wednesday. With the warmth, though, will come the chance of some thunderstorms in the forecast for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I wouldn't call any of those days a washout at this point, and I think everybody would take the trade-off for some clouds and some shower chances with the warmer temperatures that'll be heading our way. So finally, more May-like as we get towards the end of the week, but until then, have the jacket handy for the next 3 days. The time now is 4:56. You're watching Good Morning Indiana right here on RTV6. Stay with us. We are back in just a couple minutes.